Hi, welcome back to the channel. In this video, I'm going to talk about the top 5 skills needed to be successful as a data scientist or analyst. So maybe you're currently a data scientist or analyst and you are struggling to have success with your projects or in your career, or maybe you're struggling to get stakeholders on your projects engaged, then this video is for you.
I'm Dr. Christy. I'm a researcher and a data science director, and I help analysts and data scientists take their career to the next level.
So the first skill you need to be strong at is project scoping, and specifically scoping projects for data science and analytics. So this is a diagram that takes you through, but it's basically taking your project from initial idea all the way to an executed project where you have a deliverable, but you've also measured the ROI and the impact of using that solution. The reason this is hard is it's very hard to stay focused on having a solution that actually solves the problem that you started out with. There's so many projects where the solution that's built doesn't actually solve that initial problem. So for example, the problem may be that customer complaints are too high, and the solution will be a dashboard of people that are calling into the call center. That doesn't really do anything for that problem of solving complaints. It is something that was built, but it doesn't actually address that problem. You may be able to say, okay, you can use this dashboard in a certain way, and then maybe it would drive down complaints, but you have to flush that out and make sure that it actually is going to solve the problem. For example, if no one's going to use it in the way that you're saying, then it wouldn't make sense to build it. Or maybe the way that you're saying to use it, the dashboard hasn't built that way, it can't be used that way. Going through that process of going from idea all the way to your mock-up, your deliverable, your proposal, doing that whole thing and finding the data that's appropriate, the model that's appropriate, and pitching that to your stakeholders, and then getting their feedback. Being able to do that well and efficiently and getting their feedback is just going to take you to a different level of career success. So the second most important skill is translation. So taking these difficult technical concepts that come up and being able to easily translate them into easy to understand bullet points or simple descriptions. This is crucial. So when you're presenting your project, you're not talking to other data scientists or analysts. You're talking to stakeholders that have really different backgrounds. You're talking to executives. They are coming from a lot of different backgrounds. Sometimes they're intimidated or uncomfortable, and it's really important that you put them at ease, you make them comfortable. You're not condescending, but you are explaining what you did, how you did it, and in such a simple, intuitive way where they can understand it, they get it, they can give you feedback, and you move forward. And it also translates to, on the back end, when you're measuring the ROI and the impact of your project, being able to be really clear about this is what happened. Your productivity increased by X%, or efficiency increased by X%. Just being able to simply explain that is going to change how you're perceived and just the overall success that you are able to push forward. And then conversely, if you can't do it and you always end up getting very technical and you confuse yourself and you confuse them, you're just going to be viewed as someone that's junior and immature and has a lot of way to go before they would be considered mature and eligible for more senior roles. You want to start working on that and developing language that helps you explain these concepts very simply, and you want to practice that and make sure that you are really user-friendly in how you explain things. Hi, if you're enjoying this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. It's really helpful as I'm a brand new channel getting started and it makes a huge impact. Let's get back to the video. The third most important one is project management, and specifically data science and analytics project management. When you look at the overall life cycle, there are certain phases where your project is going to get stuck or is highly likely to get stuck, and you want to be able to anticipate that and know how to communicate around those things. For example, when you're getting data acquisition is the #1 killer of every project and every project idea that has come up. And once you come up with it, it's very hard to find it and get access access and pull it and the quality and all those things. So your project can really get derailed with that data acquisition phase. And then even once you're past it, there's other phases where you're very likely to get stuck. So being able to manage through and set expectations using a project timeline, having milestones, having weekly or bi-weekly syncs with the project team where you take them through, using things like your mock-up, your scoping document, all these things, which is just going to help to manage that project and push it through all the way to completion, all the way until you've measured the ROI and the impact with some sort of pilot study. If you're just passive and you just kind of let things go how they go, it's highly unlikely that your project is even going to get executed or even get completed and have a pilot and be able to get to those ROI statements that's really going to show what sort of work you did and what was your contribution. So it's really important. The fourth is stakeholder management. So there's a couple of things involved, but it is building into your project phases where stakeholders can review and give you feedback and give you input, but also knowing how to communicate with them, keep them up to date. But you need to learn how to push back in the right way. It's not possible to just do everything that they're asking for, like that, even though we would like to, it's just not realistic. So developing ways to manage your stakeholders with communication, developing a lot of trust and relationship at the beginning, keeping them informed throughout, so that when you do have bad news or you do say something that isn't in line with what's expected, they can tolerate it better because you've already built up a relationship of trust with them. And the other part of that is just setting expectations so that they are really clear, and hopefully you're using a scoping process where you're really able to set clear expectations so they understand the timeline, the milestone, what the deliverable is going to look like, how it's going to work. They understand the pilot study and what sort of ROI measures are going to come. Like, they have clear understanding. You're much more likely to have successful projects the better that you're able to do that. And the last, which is kind of related, is presentation skills. So once you've done all of that work, you've done your project, you've gone through all these hoops, being able to present, this was the project you did, these are the hurdles you went through, this is the data, this is the model, these are the ways that you got feedback, all these different things. Being able to present that to them in a way where they understand it, again, with an audience that has a really different background, being able to get their feedback, their ideas for future versions or next versions of that project, it's really going to set you apart as somebody that's eligible to move up into more senior roles versus somebody that's going to get pigeonholed into more junior, just coding all the time sort of roles, which is fine. If you love it and you know that that's what you love, then absolutely stick with that. But if you do have aspirations to move into more management leadership positions, then definitely being able to present your work clearly and in a way that indicates the strengths that you have and the contributions that you made is going to be key. So that's it for today. If you like this video, I hope you give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see you in the next one.